Well, Mike, Joey's for sure going to be on tilt that I did that video, and he's not. He's not.
Is that the
He's
first
not
time
on.
you've run it?
It is. It is. So
It
the
is?
fact that he's not on the maiden voyage, it's instantly going to put Joey on tilt. I'm Molina Mike. This is Doggin a live show. Michael Panozzo of Bridge Digest. Mike, I got my last issue of Bridge Digest in the mail finally, buddy. I didn't.
Good.
I was going to have to air you out, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that to you.
Well, there was something about your address that was funky, right? You had put it,
Allegedly.
yeah.
Allegedly.
No, I sent it to you and you told me that it was your bad. Anyways, so
That
good, cool cover, wasn't it? With
No,
that
yeah, it really
Darren?
was. It really was. Yeah,
Loved
no,
it.
I'm talking about the most the one with Darren was great, which I love by the way. It's been that whole situation was a scary time, man. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
it really just shows how fragile life is, and
Yeah.
Darren I'm a fan of the game first and foremost, and Darren's been someone that I've admired and respected his game for since I started watching pool, man. You know,
Yeah.
um, probably that 2012 final. I've said it a million times, but it's probably my best, or not my best, my favorite
Yeah.
world championship final ever.
Yeah.
And I still remember it quite vividly. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he's a hero, man, and a fighter, and I'm glad that he's here.
Yeah. Well, he even mentioned he'll do anything to get on the cover of the magazine. So this is something that you don't want to try at home,
Yeah.
but it will get you on the cover.
Pool players have been known to be divas from time to time, but
Yes.
I digress because I'm not gonna start naming names. But we got a fun show, Mike. We'll talk some World Pool Master stuff because that's all over social media the last couple of days. The draw is out, but there was a lot going on this past weekend, Mike, including an event out in Louisiana. I'm sure you've heard of it before, Scotty Townsend. And I'm curious, Mike, because you're more like on the formal professional side of pool. Did you ever cover any part of Scotty, or did he ever make any part of Birds Digest over the course
Yeah.
of the last
Yeah.
few decades?
He did. He had a deep run in the U.S. Open one year, and not even all that long ago. It was pretty late in his career, and I got a chance to sit down with him then, and we wrote about him a little bit. But yeah, he was one
What
of
was he
those
like, Mike?
players. He was a cool guy. I mean, he was straightforward, and he knew more than anybody that's not really that wasn't his element. Although he had a really good run. He was more of the road guy, the gambler, whatever. He said he's the one who always said, I never lost a set, just ran out of bullets.
The
just ran
infamous quote.
just ran out of money or whatever it was. No, he was a cool dude. Yeah.
Well, that's part of pool lore, right? Is being on the road and traveling around, and whether you're hustling or playing in tournaments, it's par for the course. But we got two ladies on deck for the show today who were
Yeah.
also on the road and who were out there and who were causing some waves out in Louisiana, West Monroe to be in fact. And I'm going to bring them on right now. We got April Larson and Kennedy
Co-
Meyman. Ladies, how are you?
Good. How are
Good,
you?
good. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys for coming on. So you guys ended up taking first and second, splitting at this weekend. Scotty Townsend, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What time did y'all finish up out there?
I think it was like 2:00, right, Kennedy?
Yeah,
in the
it
morning?
was probably around
Yeah.
2, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And April, you were undefeated through that tournament to that point, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice run. Nice
Thank you.
run. And you had won that tournament last year
Correct, yes.
as well? Yeah. Yeah.
So Kennedy, what made you decide to go out there and make the trip to West Monroe of all places? It's not like you're going to Vegas or New York or West Monroe is a pretty specific town.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I saw the flyer online and it looked like a good tournament for me to go play in. There was some money added in it and 9-ball. I love 9-ball. So I decided to make the trip out there. I knew April was going, so figured I could go with her and have some fun.
Was it
Well,
fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
we heard a little bit of the fun you guys had Sunday night, but you guys are out there playing pool, and I'm sure that's tough just being on the road. But were you guys rooming together? Was there were y'all supporting one another, or is it just kind of every woman for herself? How did that work out?
Me and April are like sisters. She's like the closest thing I have to a sister. So yeah, we stay together a lot, and yeah, so we're always supporting each other.
Was that your first time being in Louisiana playing in an open event like that?
Um, yeah, it was a women's event, but
Oh,
it was
women's event. Excuse me. Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't my first time doing something like that. No,
But I meant like more so in Louisiana.
no, I've been to Louisiana for some stuff before, but
Yeah.
mhm.
Well,
Did you guys travel down there together, or how did you get down there, Kennedy?
I flew into Dallas in April,
Okay,
picked me up, and then we drove from there. So,
nice,
mhm.
nice.
yeah. I'd
And
imagine
so
there's no direct flights from Minneapolis to West Monroe.
No, no.
there's no direct flights from East Monroe to West Monroe.
Yeah, yeah. What are you gonna say, Mike?
Well, I was going to say, so what kind? How long is that car ride, April?
So I came from San Antonio. San Antonio to Dallas was about 4.5 hours, and then same distance, 4.5 from Dallas to West Monroe.
So what's that car ride like for you guys when you're in the car driving 4.5 hours? What are the talking points? Do you talk pool at all? Do you talk life? Do you just crack jokes? Does
Who's
Kennedy
singing?
sleep while you drive? Who drives the radio? Who drives the car?
I'm kind of like, so I take a lot of road trips by myself, as many people know,
Yeah.
and most of those being like 20 plus hours. So I have gotten into the habit of thinking nobody's in the vehicle while I'm driving. So yes, I am the singer. I kind of just ramble on the entire road trip because I'm not used to having somebody to talk to. So I kind of feel bad for her, but I kind of like word vomit everything that's on my mind and don't realize it's the whole 4.5 hours. So, you know.
How bad was it, Kennedy?
It's not that bad, but I was probably talking just as much.
Next
Yeah.
time she starts singing, just hit the record button.
Oh,
Get some good content out of it.
I've been
Text me.
tempted. Yeah.
Does she play music you like?
Sometimes I'll get to play music, and then sometimes she just makes up her own songs. But
That is true.
The remix. I like it.
Yes.
So Kennedy, you've been playing a lot of junior events lately. In April, you've kind of come through those, junior ropes over the last few years, and well understand what they're going through. Is that how you guys met and how y'all became friends, or how long have y'all known each other?
How long have we known each other? I want to say it's been
it was
10 plus
probably
years.
I mean, I'd say a little less, probably like 7.
Okay.
So, yeah, I met her when I was probably 10 years old. She, at that time, was when she was in like all the pro events. Like, she just started playing, and she, I think, just had a really high finish at one of them. And like everybody looked up to her, and she lived in Minnesota, and I saw her at one of the pool rooms, and I was like shaking. Like, I was so afraid to go talk to her, but my parents wanted me to go talk to her because I just loved her so much. And then that's how we met there. And yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
That's a great story.
Oh my gosh, December Carson, relax. It's okay.
Yeah, we used to call, or my parents used to call me December Carson because I wanted to be like her so much that we like changed my name because I was born in December. So,
That's funny.
oh my
Well,
gosh.
well, let's talk
That's when you were 10. And
Yeah.
now, as we all well know, you're 17 and a half.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Definitely. Yeah.
That was probably the funniest line I saw on Facebook, because as you get older, you no longer start chopping up the years in half. Actually, you start going backwards. So when I seen the 17 and a half, it just took me back to whenever I was a teenager. And your age actually came up over the course of this weekend. So you enter in the event, you're playing in it. Calcutta's already gone and went. You guys are a few rounds deep. And then what happened on Sunday night, ladies?
Ken, do you want me to go first? Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the majority of like what I'm about to say is I just want everybody to know that this is just what happened, like plain and simple. I'm not trying to like put anyone down. Obviously, it's come and went, and I feel like it should stay that way. However, What happened was, after Kennedy and I's match, I had put my stuff away, and the tournament director pulled me aside, said, we need to talk in private, and
It's
told me
never a
that the
good sign.
cops. What's that?
It's never a good sign when
No,
it starts like
no,
that.
no. Because I mean, we mind our business. I mean, after our matches, we go sit on the side and we just wait. I mean, there's a lot of drama in the pool world to begin with, so I like to avoid that from now on out. And so I was very confused. I was like, why are the cops being called? Like, is it on me? Is it on Kennedy? Like, what's going on? And he said, we just ask that you guys kind of leave the premises for a little bit until we can figure the situation out. Apparently, it's a law in all of Louisiana that if like somebody under 18 like just can't be in a bar. So I took Kennedy. I didn't really ask a whole lot of questions at that time, and I just left with her. As we were leaving, 3 cop cars pulled in as we were exiting the parking lot. I was astonished that 3 of them pulled in because I figured
it's like a bank robbery.
Right, if the cops had been called, you just think
Right.
it would be 1, considering it wasn't like a high importance, in my opinion, situation.
Well, it's West Monroe after all. You know, I'm sure. I don't know. There's a lot going on out there.
Right. So we leave. We get the call that the cops had left and to come, like we're okay to come back. So we come back and walk in, and at the time we did not know that the person who had called the cops was still there. So we walk in and they said, "Hey, she's still here. She's on the patio. Can you guys leave again?" Because the tournament director informed us that she had called the cops and said that it was a 15-year-old drinking at the bar. Now, I would like to state, no, Kennedy and I were not physically there because we were told to leave. However, the people that were informing us, everybody's story that was there is exactly the same. So if anybody wants to really know what happened, I feel like they can contact anybody that was really there, and it's going to stay the same, right? Like, bartenders were telling us the same things as the tournament directors, as the pool hall owner, right? It was all same story. So we leave again. On our way out, she comes. I stopped to talk to James Anshu to inform him of what's going on. She comes out, has her phone kind of like pointing at my car, and that's when I went very fast out of the parking lot because I'm assuming she was taking photos. So we leave, and then are told, we're trying to figure out what's best for the situation, right? We're like,
Right.
I'm don't want her parents to not trust me for her to come down to a tournament with me again and whatnot, and we don't want to cause any more problems. But they were like completely reassuring both of us that we did nothing wrong, right? Like, we are completely not the ones to blame here. So we come back. They put us in the back room just in case, any more drama were to occur, but they had removed her from the building and she had left. And yeah, we went into the back room and Kennedy played her match, and it was 2 a.m. We had been through enough, and I was just like, if you're cool with it, I'm cool with it, to just split and go home. Like, you're my little sister. Like, this is not more important than our like well-being. So there's no reason for her to be in the pool room longer than necessary. So we just split and then left from there. So,
well, that sounds like quite an adventure. You girls are just going into it, just looking to play pool, and then all this like unnecessary drama just kind of falls on your lap. Kennedy, what was going through your mind as you got the news as to, you were kind of the centerpiece of that whole fiasco, and with someone that, from what I understood, you had long played early on in the tournament, and was already well in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, I think at first I was kind of just like shocked. Um, I mean, that's the best way to put it. Like, I just didn't know how it all happened. Like, it kind of just went by so quick, and I feel like I don't even like. It was kind of like a little traumatizing when she was taking out her phone and like following us. I was fine with like the cops and everything because I knew she was like lying. I knew I wasn't drinking and I wasn't drunk or anything, so I knew it would be all good there. But when she started kind of like following us into the parking lot and taking pictures,
Yeah, creepy.
that was a little more stressful. And then, of course, it all went on Facebook, and I was not thinking it was going to go on Facebook. I thought we were just going to like try to not talk about it after that. But yeah.
Yeah, that was
Hey,
another piece of the information I kind of forgot to add. These were the things that, you know, were told to us again by the same people, were that she had told the cops that there was a 15-year-old drinking at the bar. So that astonished me. I mean, I have a feeling, like, this is all just what I feel about the situation. I have a feeling she said that to ensure cops would show up, right? Because had she
yeah,
said a 17-year-old, I mean, it's 18. Is it really? I mean, you know, would the cops have shown up? Would they not? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I was just kind of like, I've played a lot of pool in my life, and I've never seen really anything like this, especially directed at. I mean, especially like the whole. Once it had gotten on Facebook, there was, like, she was saying that she had not done it, and I think that I was just kind of like, I don't understand how there's any confusion here, right? Like, I understand that it sucks that it got on Facebook, but in my opinion, right, like, I feel like it should have just been handled like, hey, I'm really sorry that this happened. Like, taken a little bit more accountability could have been taken, you know,
yeah.
because then that started the whole confusion of, well, are we pointing fingers at the wrong person? And then
Yeah.
now we have to get involved because we're like, no, because then the blame started shifting on to somebody that wasn't involved, like, at all. So I just felt bad for the person not involved at all, because I know her very well, the person that, you know, the blame was kind of starting to shift to. And she has sponsors, she has things that she needs to, you know, look out for. And she wanted nothing to do with all of this because she had no involvement in it. And she welcomed me with open arms to Texas and gifts and like sentimental things. I know she would never do that to us, right? So that person being Melissa Smith, I want just to clear the air completely on her name because she did not do anything. So
Well, the irony here is that you guys have, you know, an attitude and mentality like an adult should have, you know, and it's the adult that you're having to defend yourselves against. You know, you guys are very mature for your age, and I don't know that I would have been, you know, as patient on that lady as you guys were. So I, you know, I commend you ladies for that, if nothing else. But you know, it's tough to fade, I'd imagine, because being being pool players and being young, you know, that could have its. I'm sure you guys have gotten slack over the years if you beat someone who's older than you, and then being ladies and maybe beating someone that's older than you, and then kind of taking a little shit from that, you know. But then to have another woman player, you know, drop the dime on you, you know, and try to you know, cause some problems for you, you know, what did that make you feel like?
For me, I've had issues in women's tournaments many times before,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Um, my first one ever, it was my first adult tournament and a women's tournament, and I beat one of the ladies, and she wanted me kicked out of that. And it's never been like this extreme, but I've had people complaining or wanting me to be kicked out for no reason. But yeah,
Because of your age? Is that what they were
yeah.
using as the
Well,
is
yeah, they'll say like sometimes it's like my rating or something, but most of the time it's
yeah,
my age.
yeah,
Like even when it's something that it's not debatable whether I should be there or not,
yeah.
they still will try to be like, well, this isn't registered as a junior tournament or it's a women's
Yeah,
tournament, something
yeah.
like that. So,
Did you contact your parents right away that night? How did they handle it? What was their take on it?
yeah, I called my dad and I was like, okay, so this
Stay
lady
off
called,
social media, Dad. Stay
yeah,
Yeah, man.
I basically just told my dad that this lady called the cops on me, and I told him the whole story. And um, I think he was probably a little worried because I was
Yeah.
not there with him. But
Of course.
yeah, I think my parents were both just kind of maybe not worried as much because they knew I was with April
Right.
and everything. I've gone with April. It's not the first time I've gone with April. Um, but yeah, I think they were okay with it, just wanting me to be home probably after everything that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
I got lucky to be able to speak with Kennedy's parents for a little bit the other day, and that was the impression I got from them. was and mainly the fact that number one, they trust you, they trust April, they trust y'all's judgment, but I can tell you as someone who has siblings and has daughters, it's a tough spot to be in, I can imagine, and I'd imagine for you, April, it was even more like because, in a lot of respects, she's your responsibility. You're the one in charge of looking after her, being the older one of the two. So I'm sure when all this started, you're like, oh shit, let me figure something out here.
Well, what's funny is we've had some stories on the other times that she's come with me, and I was like, this is my redemption time. Like, this is gonna go smooth. It's one day in Louisiana.
Yeah.
One day nothing can really go wrong, and here we sit. But yeah, no, I was just like, I was more so like, I knew we were gonna be fine. I mean, if she was taking pictures, like, it was kind of, that was the only part concerning me, because West Monroe's not a large town. There's
Right.
not a lot of Minnesota plates. She obviously is not scared to call the cops. I did not know if they were going to show up where we were, like staying. And then I had no idea what was going to come. I don't have many run-ins with the cops, thank God. So like, I was just kind of genuinely speechless, I guess is the best word. I was like, I don't really know. Like, she wasn't leaving, and it was like, I didn't understand how it could have gotten to this point, right? Like, I was just confused, honestly. I was like, I don't know how we're having to defend what happened when everybody knows what happened, right? Like, I didn't understand how things were getting so misconstrued online. I was like, and I'm not one to post, not because I didn't want to defend her, just because once you get involved, you can't really
it's tough to get
pull
out of.
It
yourself
become
out
he
of,
say she say kind of deal. It's
right.
tough. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we know what happened, right? Like, she did apologize to both of us. Like I said, it kind of sounds like she's trying to say she didn't do anything. She's just sorry for everything that's happened. And I don't know, right? Like, I don't know what's going through her head. I don't want to speak on her half. It's just kind of like, we all know what happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a scene. It was a scene. And we understand that she was drinking. So she may not know really what happened at this point. But I feel like it would go a little bit better for her if she just accepted, like, there's a ton of people there that are saying what happened, right? Even if I remember it or not the same way, like, just apologize for everything, let the smoke clear, and move on, right? Like, this is gonna move on. Very, like, I mean, clearly it's already kind of, the smoke's kind of settled already a little bit, but
well, what was great
time
was
heals
seeing all the support for you guys online over this course of this weekend, and what also got lost a little bit. I mean, not I guess in the moment, but not so much now, is that you guys split first and second in a pretty decent event out there. Got some tournament money, got some Calcutta money. How did you guys go and celebrate the win? Did you guys have a nice dinner, or
They got out of
what was the
Louisiana as
picking
fast as they
out
could.
in West Monroe? Yeah.
We went to sleep. We went back and we slept pretty good that night. So yeah.
We called her a night.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the tournament itself. You guys obviously, what was the competition like? How were the conditions? How did you guys feel about your game? How are you playing? April, what do you think of Kennedy's progress at this point? I mean, she's kind of like following, your trail. So kind of bring us up to speed on all that.
Yeah, I mean, as always, the competition is always, tough. Nine ball on a 7-footer, alternate break. It's really tough to get that jump start on these players because, I mean, you miss once, and then that could be on your break, and then it's their break. They can break and run. You know what I mean? So it was really anybody's game. I'm proud of Kennedy's, progress, obviously, and Gretchen Roa. She's a great friend of mine as well. She got third place. They both, they both come so far from when I first known Kennedy. Obviously, she was 10, so she has gone from a beginner to now I would consider her a professional pool player, right? I feel like her confidence has changed. Much more confident in yourself. You can see it on the table. Her form is impeccable, right? Like, it's a Mark Wilson form. She's been working with Mark Wilson, and I have nothing but good things to say about Mark. And you can definitely tell, you know what I mean? Like, there's a stroke that he tries to, There's like a tempo. There's everything that he tries to instill in us. You know, she has, and I think it's doing wonders on her game. I mean, just her finishes in the past couple tournaments that she's been in, you can tell that it's impacted her confidence in her game and everything, right? So yeah, I mean, I just play so much pool now that I've had a couple pretty good events lately. So I feel like my confidence has changed a little bit too. I look at it as not so much a nerve-wracking event, right? Like I used to go into tournaments always so nervous because I wasn't confident in myself. And now, or I felt like I had something to prove, right? Because I haven't been on the pro tour for a year and a half. I felt like, you know, all these comments, you just can't listen to it. You can't listen to it. And now that I'm not listening to it completely, you know, like I have all the support in the world. I listen to that, right? Like I listen to the positive, awesome. Just constantly surround myself with the positive.
Yeah.
And it's had an immense, impact on my game and just my mental well-being. So yeah.
Hey, Kennedy, I want you to separate your friendship from April for a second. What's it like hearing her opinion of you as a competitor? You know, given your what she means to you.
Oh, it means everything. I respect her so much. Obviously, like her game is amazing, and like, I think also because we both work with Mark, I really respect her game a lot too because I know kind of what she's doing and how she's working on it. But just everything she says to me, I take it so to heart, and I really appreciate all of it. And any really good player too, like just saying something nice to me like that encourages me so much and makes me more confident for sure. That really is part of it. So I appreciate it.
April. So, you know, it's so important for a young player like yourself, Kennedy, to have someone like April who's a little bit older, who's been through the same road that you've been down and is kind of, you know, teaching you along the way what to expect, how to deal with it. April, who was that person for you?
Oh man, I had so many people like that. You know, when I was in juniors, it was, I mean, hundreds of juniors would show up to, you know, BEF competing, you know, and there wasn't really one person. Honestly, I was surrounded. Everybody that went to Junior World Championships, everybody that was on Atlantic Challenge Cup that was older than me took me in. And I mean, even professional pool players, like I think of Allison Fisher as like my second mom. Jeanette Lee has obviously done so much for the juniors. You know, she was there for me to talk to. Honestly, like I wish I could give you like a single person, you know, but at the same time, I'm grateful that I can't, you know,
Exactly.
So many people that I look at as older sisters, older brothers, people that have gotten me where I'm at. I mean, if you talk to a lot of people, and I've heard this over and over again, and I'm so grateful for it. You know, a lot of people are like, there's not a lot of people in the sport that don't really, or that don't have an issue, or that have an issue with. What I'm trying to say is I have a lot of support, and there aren't a lot of people that have any like bad experiences with me.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. I have my dad to thank for that because there are so many times where stuff happens. Life's not fair, right? And there were so many times when I was younger that I wanted to blast it on Facebook. Like, if people do this to me, how can they get away with it, right?
Yeah.
And in this situation now, I kind of wanted to do that with Kennedy, right? Because I'm not a kid really anymore, and I feel like I don't like when stuff happens like this, right? And I feel like I have the right to speak my mind. But at the end of the day, just falling back, just
take a deep breath.
Saying anything says a lot, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, I think you guys handled it with class, and you know, it'll long be forgotten, and what will be remembered is that you guys played an awesome event, and you know, split first and second, and every time they mention the ladies event, you know, your names will be there, and you know, for many years to come, which is amazing, you know, at any age, let alone being so young. So you got all of our congratulations for that.
Yeah, great futures still for both of you. Speaking of future, April, I do want to ask you about, you know, it's been a year and a half since you've, you know, been in WPBA tour, things like that. Where does that stand in terms of your standing or your desires, or has there been any contact back and forth? Do we get to see you in some of these events soon, or
Yeah.
what do you
So,
think of?
as far as my situation, there's a tournament coming up in Iron City Billiards. That's my sponsor currently. If I could just play in that event for right now, I have honestly never been more happy with the situation that I'm in. I've never been more financially stable. I've never been more free, to do what I want to do. I really genuinely enjoy it. That has no negative impact on the WPBA. They changed my life, obviously, right? I wish them nothing but the best. And yeah, I mean, I'm always open to the future as far as getting back on the WPBA. I used to think I wanted to be number one in the world. I don't think that that's changed. I think that just circumstantially, I would like to just play pool for a living, and whatever makes that possible for me is what I'm going to do. Right now, that is not signing the WPBA. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not feasible for me to sign the WPBA and make the living that I'm making now. Right. I enjoy playing pool. I get to play every single weekend. Again, that would not be possible with WPBA right now in their current state. Right.
Right.
It sounds like they might be loosening the reins. I don't know in what aspect personally. Like, I've heard some things, right? And I trust those people, but I don't want to air that, because I don't know 100%. So hopefully, I'm going to try to reach out to the WPBA, see if there's any way that I could maybe use a promoter spot or anything just to go back or just to play in the Iron City event. My sponsor would love it. I would love it. Iron City is kind of like my second home. So I really hope that that's something that I'm able to do.
The Predator events are not WPBA sanctioned events this year. Could you
Correct.
play like in Wisconsin? Could you play in Baraboo? Are you going to, or?
I didn't last year. They were sanctioned WPBA last year, so I couldn't last year. But this year I played in Vegas. Last year I played in Austria for the World Championships. This year I played in Atlantic City for the 9-ball world. I think it was 9-ball. Man, I don't. it's been a while. I don't know what I had for breakfast this morning, so y'all can't blame me really.
Oh, you're fine.
But I mean, if I get invited to Austria, I'll go to Austria again this year because that's 10-ball. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to playing in whatever I can really play in. But I really, truly would like to say that I am happy with the decision I made. I miss the girls. Don't get me wrong, but for my well-being, for what's best for me.
Yeah, good for you.
I think it's completely changed my mental game as well as my physical game. I feel like I'm playing the best pool I've ever played in my life. So
great. That's great.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. We wish you guys all the best. I want to get you out of here on this, Kennedy. What did your parents say whenever you got back home?
Oh, they just hugged me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. You can sleep in your bed tonight." So yeah.
Are you allowed to go on another tournament road trip with April after this?
Yes, I am.
Then hey, you won the event. You kept your friendship. Parents are happy. It's a win-win across the board. Ladies, congratulations on a great event. We really appreciate you guys for stopping by and wish you all the luck going forward as well.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, take care. Good seeing you both.
We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, Mike. Well, that was pretty fun.
Yeah,
huh?
great. It's there's so many positives to come out of a discussion with young players like that who are so dedicated and mature and they have such solid foundations and good support systems. And what April was talking about with all the people who helped her through. The pool community, we all know, can be a nasty place sometimes. But one of the things that's kept me in the business for all these years is that the good part of the pool community is as good as you can get in any business, sport, endeavor, anything. It's such a tight-knit, close, watch each other's back group when you get that core group around you, like April was talking about. And they're two really good people, so it's not surprising that they have those huge support systems behind them. And it'll help them going forward.
I feel like it's so much more than that, though, Mike. Because you could have a whole bunch of great people behind you, but it's not going to make you a great person. But what I took away from it was just how well they held themselves together, their maturity, their class through a difficult situation, which is not easy at times. that's something that to me, as a parent, is a direct reflection of how you were raised.
That's 100%. That's
So
as soon as you
yeah,
said parent, I'm thinking of that. That's the answer right there. That's a strong upbringing, a strong, that support system goes beyond the pool community. It goes, it starts with your
right.
parents, starts with your family, and they both have great family situations and great support from
Well,
their family. So
what's that old saying, Mike? It's adversity reveals character,
yeah, it
right?
does.
Or and I think it shined through when it comes to these two young
Well,
ladies.
like you
Um,
said, they handled it like mature adults, which is more than the supposedly mature adults handled it, in that situation. So, good for them.
Yeah, for sure. What an awesome event it was. There was some other winners throughout that event, including Hennessy, who took down the 9 ball. I think Tony snapped off
Yeah.
the one
Right.
pocket. Josh Roberts had a couple of second place finishes, if I'm not mistaken, including a 10 ball mini. So Scotty Townsend is always, it's another gamblers event out there in Louisiana that I've just heard about over the years. It's kind of taken on um, its own reputation, and in a good way, for people being able to go out there and make a score and have a little bit of fun, not just in the tournament, but on the side action as
Right.
well. It's a fun event leading up to another great event out in Louisiana later on this month, which is
Buffaloes.
Buffalo's.
Yeah.
I guess as close to a one pocket world championship as you can ask for, right? I mean, in some form or fashion. I'm sure the WPA won't be sanctioning any of that, but that's fine.
Just in
Um,
terms of sheer, betting volume and interest, it's right there, right?
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. And the field looks a little light this year, but I think it's because of some conflicts when it comes to international events that are going on. But there'll still be some monsters out there, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't think I will, but I'm looking forward to watching nevertheless. And it's always something that I look forward to every single
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah. Should be fun.
we got a lot of stuff coming up for the Masters though, Mike, and I'm real excited for this event. I tell you what, there's like before in years past, I got to be honest with you. Sometimes these player choices had me scratching my head and thinking, is this the best field as we can get? And I tell you what, I'm pretty satisfied when it comes to the 16 players that are selected for this year, Mike, and I'm really looking forward to it, especially now that the draw is out.
Well, we give Matchroom plenty of credit, but I give them credit for here too, because over time these events have evolved, right? For a
For
long
sure.
time,
Yeah,
Masters was one of the only 2 or 3 events that they ran between the World Cup
that's
of
it.
Pool, the Masters, Moscone Cup, right? So,
Right.
so they used to pick and choose who they wanted in their television production. I don't blame them. Now they're at a
Of
point with
course.
the number of events that they have, whatever, where they can say, okay, this is going to be a merit-based situation. So the top 14 players get automatic invites, and then we're going to pick 2 wild cards, because they should always have a couple wild cards in their pocket for
Of
someone
course.
that they want to, advance or show off or
But
reward or
that's a
something like
fair
that.
ratio, right, Mike?
100%.
By far.
100%.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's easy
Right.
to go along with. So yeah. So from that standpoint, they have a good legit field. It's really strong. Their extra picks were interesting. I think they were more geographically, considered than ranking
What,
or star
what was
power.
it? The
Aranis,
Chinese player.
yeah, and Aranis.
I
So
mean, it makes
yeah,
sense.
so yeah, from that standpoint, no problem with it. Good field. I do want to say, and I hope I'm not speaking out of school here, that so I saw someone post on today. There was a big poster of all the players and whatever, and they or individual players. And someone mentioned, why isn't there one of Fedor Gorst? And someone said, well, maybe because they don't have a picture of him with a 9-ball shirt on. I don't think he's gotten his visa cleared through the UK yet. So I think at this point he's still a little bit on ice. Hopefully it gets cleared up before it's time to get there. But I think that's part of the reason that you're not seeing more promotion of him in this event.
Well, I mean, I think he's ranked number 2, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to year rankings. I could be way off, but
I
I'm
think
pretty sure he's somewhere.
this is based on the 2-year, right?
Okay, so then on the overall,
Yeah, so
then.
I think he was 14th or 12th or something like that. But either way, I mean, he had his spot and he can go and play. I just don't think that, he's as soon as he got that okay from the U.S. To go ahead and start, traveling overseas if he wants to, he's been buying his tickets and putting in his applications for visas in different countries, right? Because he's still got to go through that process. And we know what happened with Kachi a couple of years ago, not being able to get into the UK because he sent his visa application and paid the expedited fee, and which is supposed to be like 10 days, and 8 weeks later he still didn't have his visa and missed the tournament. So visa issues, we've seen it all too often in the last couple of years, have messed with some of these fields and some of these players, and it's a shame. And I'm not saying that Federer won't be there. I'm just saying that I think that that's at this point part of the reason that you're not seeing more promotion of him at the Masters.
Well, aside from having him on the flyer, there's only so much that can be done. I feel like, I think he's doing his, fair share when it comes to like promoting the picture of himself on social media and things like that. But, that was something that when I had him on the last time, whenever we had him on together, Mike, that was something that he brought up, and, his concerns were there. And this is well over a month ago now. So, all you can do is make an honest effort, right, to make sure that, everything is squared away as best it can, and hopefully it comes in on time. I'd imagine that there's contingency plans in place, knowing Matchroom, because
of course,
they usually stay in pretty good contact with everyone, and I'm sure they're just as. Is that
no? I'm just teasing.
It's like, wait a minute, are you dropping some bombs here, Mike? I'm gonna get a message from Emily in the morning, getting my ass chewed out. Is what's gonna happen here? Why is that I get chewed out now, and then you don't? You get because of your history of just being the greatest journalist in pool of all time. You get a free pass, and then I'm always the shithead of the bunch.
Producer's always gonna get blamed.
We take our lumps whenever we need to.
No, I want to say, people are saying Federer's great managing his career. He'll be fine. Yeah, Federer's going to be fine, of course, and hopefully he'll be at that event because we all want to see him play in these events. And he drew Shane in the first round. I mean, I want to see this first round matchup.
That's about as juicy as matchup as you can get in that very first round,
them,
Mike. Is that right?
Right below them, the winner of that plays the winner of Jason Shaw and Pinyi Ko. That's a pretty juicy first round match too. So,
look, we're gonna go through match by match. I got a lot of stuff. Like, I want to go live a lot in the next few days leading up to the Masters. I do, and I want to dissect every single match, every player. But if I'm gonna give you a little nugget here, Mike, I'm gonna tell you, Ko's got a pretty good winning record against Jason Shaw over the last, let's say, like 7 years or so.
Yeah, he does.
So I don't know if that would be an upset. A lot of people think that Federer's got a pretty good chance to get Shane. And I tell you what, that's the marquee matchup of that first round for me, by a mile. And it couldn't have dressed up any better. Emily had texted me the other day, and once the draw was done and just how exciting it was, and I hadn't seen the draw on there, so I'm like, well, how's it looking? And she's like, oh, it's and I thought she was just BSing. And then I go and I actually see the draw, and I see that first round matchup. Federer and his inexperience on Matchroom stage, and Shane and all of his World Pool Masters titles. That's a matchup that I want to see more than and that could be a final, Mike.
It could.
So
sure.
But we got a lot in store. I think we're going to try to do – so we're going to go through match by match in the show. Hopefully we'll get Joey on in the next few days. We're also going to go through each player and go over some betting favorites as well. We got that in store over the next couple of days as well. I'm trying to get with some of my buddies in the UK to get their odds on outright favorites now that the draw is out. So I'm looking into getting that as well.
I'd love to see the odds because I'd like to talk about, who's overpriced, who's underpriced.
Well, let me ask you this, though. So you got Filler, who is obviously the defending champion. Shane, who's won it multiple times. Kazakis has won it before. But then you got someone like an FSR, right, who is clearly having the year year and a half that he's having. Who do you think ought to be the favorite, Mike, going into the event?
Betting favorite? Just from what I know from UK betting and things like pool, I would think that FSR and Filler will be the betting favorites.
Okay.
As far as the sheer number, for sure, that would be my guess.
Well, who would you, if you were going to pick, an outright favorite?
The betting favorite?
Yeah.
I would pick
And
Josh.
I'm putting Mike on the spot here because
Yeah,
I
no, no.
didn't
I
give him
would put. I would.
no heads up.
I would. And I think we filled out a bracket for you, right? Ranking 1 through 16. I think I had Josh
Yeah.
at number 1, and that's what I would stick with.
Right. So we're going to go through that as well. I posted the link on Windows Open the other day, and I'm going to use that data to kind of go through that player by player analysis that we're going to do in the next couple of days. So we're excited to use that, and you guys are going to be a part of it. We got a fun contest going on Windows Open as well, where I think we're giving away a How Titan tip, a couple of pieces of a Town chalk, and then I don't know if Mike knows it or not, but he's giving away a year of Beards Digest as well, along with that
You guys are killing
contest.
me.
Also, so but if you didn't know, Mike, now you know. So all you guys got to do is pick the final and, of course, the winner. We're only going to select one. So if it's been selected before, we'll go with the first one who commented. But we're going to try to have some other fun contests over the next few days as well. I've been like brainstorming and trying to come up with fun angles. This is like a great event, Mike. Outside of the World Cup of Pool, like, and I'll be honest, like, like I mentioned before, maybe I didn't have as much enthusiasm in years past, but because of the field this year, like James being a wild card, James is really great at playing 9-ball pool. And I know that first round matchup with FSR is going to be tough, especially given how Francisco breaks. But man, Dodong's playing great pool right now, and he's actually like fully playing pool out in the Philippines. And he's probably the best Filipino 9-ball player, in my opinion. For the money outside of that, Philippine area. So, like in other words, whenever he
Right.
leaves. So, I'm real excited for the event, Mike.
Yeah, it's always a good one. It's always a lot of fun. Every match is marquee. Every match is table one. That's what makes it fun. So yeah, it should be great stuff.
We'll give our winners and losers over each round. We'll show our brackets. We're actually going to publicly show our top 16 favorites. I don't know if Mike knows that. Certainly Joey doesn't know. But
you tell me a lot of stuff I don't know. So it's like
listen. Here's the deal.
you've been
If I
brainstorming by
tell you,
yourself and then like unloading all this on us as we it's like how much.
of course,
Okay, just tell
because
me how much I owe you.
well, if I tell you on the spot live, then it puts you on the hook because now you can't backtrack. So that's the angle here
I've
is that we're trying to get you
backtracked on
locked
bigger
in.
stages than this.
But I'm real excited over the next few days of how it's going to turn out. This is going to be a really fun event, and we're going to cover it as best we can. I reached out to Matchroom as well, trying to get. I think Josh. I don't know if that's even close to being locked in or not. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they do. But we'll also try to get a few other players as well leading up to it. So if there's someone you guys would like to see on the show, feel free to hit us up, put a comment in here, or send us a message as well.
Someone asked about the format change for this year. What's different this year?
What is it, like race to 9?
Hey, man, I just thought it was a really good question. I thought you might know the answer.
Yeah, no, I don't remember off the top of my head. Unless the races got extended just a little bit, but it's if it's race to 9, that's about as solid as you can get.
Yeah, sure.
So I think before races to 7, and again, I don't know off the top of my head, but race to 7's a little rough, because you really have no time to kind of get any kind of traction.
Yeah.
I see a comment in here about Sufi. That's someone that I want to see play. He's won a Euro Tour since that World Championship final. We haven't seen him back on a matchroom stage since that event, obviously, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he follows up. There's just like so many stories here, Mike, so many players to find an angle with and to kind of say that, hey, I think this guy has a legitimate chance, has a strong chance, has a puncher's chance. So I'm really looking forward to what we got going on. Hopefully you can make it on, Mike. I don't know what your schedule like in the next few days is, but
I'm around all weekend. So yeah, hit me up. Next couple of days I'll be here. Over the weekend I'll be in the office. So yeah, hit me up. And I see it's races to 9 till the semifinals, then race to 11, then finals race to 13. So legit stuff.
Yeah, I mean, about as true 9-ball pool as you can get, Mike. It's not gimmicky or gaffy.
This is a winner's break, right? Or is this alternate?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's winner. I hope so because I like. Well, what do you think it ought to be, Mike? I prefer the winner's break.
If you have the longer race, then I definitely want winner's break. Just race to 6.
Plus, it's
race to 5, race to 7. Fine, do alternate break. But you get to race 9 or longer, then yeah, I want to see people run them out.
Well, you're always in it. And we saw that with Shane versus Mika in the World Championship, 2 years ago. I love the way that format lends itself to just some excitement. You can get punished early, you can get in a hole early, and it can kind of get away from you before you ever know that you got punched. Right? We saw
Right.
years ago when I was the idiot, giving like 3 or 4 games to Kazakis, taking Shane, and then
I
and then
nothing.
Kazakis 9-0 right before you even know it. So funny things can happen. There's a lot of guys who have a lot of talent. Guys like Mario, I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Sufi, obviously. Of course, Francisco is going to be Francisco. I'm curious if something were to happen with Federer, maybe what European would go and take his spot. Obviously, we hope that Federer makes it out there, but so many storylines to talk about, Mike, and
Yeah.
and to go through over the next couple of days. So we'll get everything lined up and in order, and we'll have a show for you coming up pretty soon. Mike, I want to just talk real quick about snooker before I let you
That
go.
was great stuff.
Uh,
I enjoyed that.
a wonderful event. Mike, I still got my Dazzin subscription, so I was able to see
Yeah.
quite a bit of it. Seeing Luca beat Selby in the final, but just the last few days in general leading up to what ended up being a great final. But just the event in a whole, like, it was so compelling, Mike.
Oh, it's the, you know, it is the snooker, event, and
Yeah.
playing in the Crucible and just the history it has and the way
What a
the
cool name too,
players,
Mike. We need a place like that.
the
That
Crucible.
sounds badass like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we need a
Yeah, yeah.
Crucible for
Pool,
sure.
pool, pool does not have that
It
at
doesn't
all.
have a Crucible.
Like,
Can you
no,
imagine?
not even a little
Now we're
bit.
going to see
You know?
Facebook comments. Pool doesn't.
Like, what are you gonna say? The
We don't.
Rio?
We doesn't. We don't
We,
have a
we, we got the
Crucible.
Rio.
That's why Pool will never make it. Pool will never
Yeah.
make it because we don't have a Crucible. All right.
Mike's just trying to put me on tilt with the reason why Pool will never make it line. Oh
No, that
God.
was
Yeah.
great, but I mean, Luca just it's tough for me watching those, you know, intervals. They play eight frames in the morning, they play eight in the evening, then they come back the next day. I mean, that's a little long for me. But if you caught like the last sessions of Luca's matches, they were they were unbelievable. He's down, 10-6 or whatever to Ronnie O'Sullivan, comes out the last session, runs 7 and out, wins 7 and out, and then he's playing
Against Ronnie
then
at the
against
Crucible.
then he's playing C. He's behind, by 10, was it 10 racks? 10,
Something like
10,
that. It
10
was close
games,
to it. Yeah.
and rolls through that. And then,
And it's not like playing 9 ball, Mike. Like, it's completely different when it comes to having be able to overcome a deficit. And I feel like in a lot of aspects, the better player, like, once you get your foot in the throat, you can kind of keep it
yeah.
there. That amount of heart to do that, the way he did over and over again,
Well,
unbelievable,
Ronnie
Mike.
O'Sullivan was talking about, he said it's one of the hardest things about the World Championship is that you have these sessions like that, 8 game blocks, and then a second one, and after a break, and then you play the next day. And he said over the course of that time, you're going to have some downslides. You're not,
Ebbs
it's
and
just,
flows.
yeah. I mean,
Yep.
it just the breaks and taking the foot off the get, all that stuff. Really got to be really, really tough stuff to fade. But and then watching Selby run 147 in the in the finals, it's never happened before. I mean, that was just
How
ridiculous.
unbelievable was that,
That
Mike?
was ridiculous.
I,
Even Luca was like
I,
out of his mind when he hit the pocket of the last black. It's just it was cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Anybody who, if you want to make your DAZN subscription worthwhile, make sure you have it next April, and watch the World Snooker Championship because it's pretty cool.
I loved every match that I was able to watch. I did, and I caught stories that were just like, as a sports fan, not even someone who just loves Q sports, like just as a pure sports fan, there were so many things to take away from it that I just really why I love sports in general.
Yeah.
Why I love watching it. It's the stories, it's the comebacks, it's when you talk about what Ronnie had mentioned, a lot of it's kind of like breaking down, matches like quarters do, or, in
Right,
football or
right.
basketball or whatever, you know what I mean? Or boxing for that matter, and there's a lot of parallels there, and you got to be really headstrong. The young Chinese kid who came in as a qualifier, Luca, obviously. The funny thing I seen was from Eurosport, they had a quote from, what was the guy's name? Who also ran a 147? Oh, Kyron, I think
Oh,
Wilson.
Karen Wilson, yeah.
And yeah, and he was I guess got the 55,000 bonus, and then he wakes up and
He says,
come to
you
find.
wake up, you're 30,000 lighter.
Yeah. And then seeing Luca's response when it comes to Selby after the match and the class that he showed, it was just an amazing event,
Yeah,
Mike.
it
I
was
mean,
great.
Justin, I love watching snooker. I love watching top players,
The standard
but I
was
love when
really high
there's
this year too, so the matches were really compelling. There was good action. It's fun to, everybody talked about how fun it was watching someone like Luca, who, you know, yeah, plays at a
well, like
fast pace.
when he's down 10, when he's down like 8 or 9 racks, I'm already like, okay, I'll come back later and I'll watch, because he's gonna cruise now,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And then it's like, oh boy, he put the heat back on. Like literally, when I saw he was down like 9 racks, and then a few hours later, I see like the World Snooker, media they put out where it's like he's only down by one, and I'm like, what happened here? Like
and
it blew me away,
he
Mike.
plays a really daring game. I mean, ahead or behind, if there's part of the pocket that if he can see the pocket, he's firing at it. He's not a okay, let's play strategically, string this
Well, that's how
string
we
this
won the final rack against Selby, because Selby was nipping at his heels within one.
yeah.
He hits a side pocket, leaves the cue ball a little tough. I mean, it didn't end up where he wanted to,
Right.
but it was a pot that Luca took on that you probably not too many people go and take that
And
on.
it was
He found a window.
it was tough for him. It had to be mentally tough for him to take that on too, because he had let Selby back into the match by
In the
missing a
match.
lot of shots. He had not played well the 2 or 3 frames before that, and
Right.
missed a lot of shots. So his confidence
Oh
was
yeah, well,
not running sky high at that point. And you take something like that on and you miss, you're usually selling out to these guys like a Selby or a Ronnie or someone like that. So
well, of
yeah, it was
course.
good
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
it helped seeing Selby miss a little bit,
Yeah,
even though he put himself back in the match, right? But on that frame in particular, even though you're sitting like on a 50-point cushion, it's like now you got the pressure of I better finish it,
yeah,
I better deliver here, and you're right, because he gave Mark a lot of chances to stay within that match and to put himself to win that particular frame again. He came up short, obviously, and Luca won the title, but yeah, I tell you what, this was one of the events that, like, just in general of being a fan of
yeah,
sports, I'm head over heels about it,
yeah.
Mike.
Good stuff.
Anyway, guys, we'll let you guys go. We'll be on probably the next couple of days. We'll iron something out. We'll put a post about it to keep your eyes peeled. So
Yeah.
we appreciate everyone who tuning in. Thanks for April and Kennedy for coming on. Mike, I appreciate you for being my
Hey,
wingman today, man. It really helped
if you
out.
need any more subscriptions, just let me know.
We'll see you guys. Oh, wait a minute. I got the outro video here, Mike. So we're gonna end the show, you guys, and yeah, we'll holler at you guys later.